Sisters of the shining moon, heaven, earth, and sea, I call upon you in this hour, bring magic unto me. Brothers, oh, the cauldron cries, it singeth unto me the songs of Mother Goddess and of Father in the tree.
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between because why not? We can. So there we are. And being broadcast live tonight, of course, on Truth Frequency Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live, and also in on YouTube. So if you are in on YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you like the show, subscribe, alerts, all that jazz. And regardless of which chat room you're in or where you're at, make sure you either say hello or send me an email at wildpaisley@gmail.com. If you want to support the show, hey, would love to. See ya there at etsy.com/shop/Monarch Mountain Studio. And that's MTN for mountain. And if there's something you see in there that there's something you want that you don't see, which I get, I do, let me know. Send me that email and let me know. And you can also go to the patreon.com/the spaces between. And to cure what ails you, check out iLife.com, combining the best of the ayahuasca plant. Well, maybe not the best, but the medical part, with CBD oil to, help support your immune system and make you just feel better. We are live tonight. So the call line is open, and that number is 213-233-3998. Or if you're across the pond in the UK, it's 44203-393-2871. And yes, I am solo tonight because Mr. Don has a bit of a schedule change. Yes, that's what we will call it, schedule change. The snafu. So he's got to be up at OMG 30 in the morning to go to work because he's a grown-up. Isn't it great to be a grown-up? Some days more than others, yes. And Julia, I see that you hurt yourself. I'm sorry. I hope you feel better. I hope it gets heals quickly. I do see all chatting away in chat room, so hello, hello, hello. And yes, it is a little dark. I only have one light on. It's kind of nice. Well, and then the lights in the background, but you can't see the selenite tower, which is pretty fantastic, nor can you see the incense I have burning, which is also fantastic. So, yeah. Farms for us, kid. Pharmacy, you're silly. And yes, just trying up the different backgrounds. I gotta keep it new somehow, right? We'll just go with that. So, oh yes, I would love a nap. I get to sleep in tomorrow. I feel a little bad for Don because he has to get up, I think, at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, which is gross, but I'll probably roll out of bed about 10. Way excited about that. So yeah. Tonight, what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about reality. Gotta tell you, because reality is a thing. And Carlton, send me an email, or I guess you can call me. I don't know. You have my number, I think. I don't know. But call me or send me the email. Send me the email. There you go. And I can tell you how to fix the background so it looks nice. If you use OBS, by golly, you know what? You can do a lot in OBS. Or if you don't have OBS, there are other programs out there. So there are things you can do. So hello. Let's see. TFSN, Pharmacy, you're in both places. I see Lucky, Aussie, Justin Goodearth, YTFP Chris. Julia. I'm just going through here. Lewis, hello. Naysay. I saw you talking a little bit. Thank you for the dopamine. Need all the little bit that we can get. And yes, reality. Um, and Carlton, depending on your camera and the kind of settings that you might have, you don't necessarily just have to have a green screen. You can use a black one or a white one. Or you can... I know someone who actually bought a shower curtain off of Wish, of all things, because they have all sorts of cheap shower curtains. And they use that for the background because it just looks kind of cool. So, but yes, there are all sorts of fun things out there that you can do. And for me personally, like right now, as we are rapidly approaching the Ber months, the BER months, a lot of the stores are starting to have their fall and Halloween decorations. So you can kind of see over my shoulder here some sugar skulls that I scored at the dollar store. Next time someone is in the other chair, which will be next weekend, I've got a couple signs and things that are fun. And yeah, it's just fun. So there. And so yeah, reality. Because, I work in a retail facility right now, and I really like it. It's kind of esoteric and fun and stuff. And we have people come in semi-regularly, of course, it's a retail facility, and talk about esoteric things, stones and crystals and rocks and blah, blah, blah. And that's cool, right? Well, sometimes, we get to talking and they're like, well, is magic really real? Like, well, yes, I think so. And so, we need to talk about what's real, what's unreal, what's surreal, or, normal, abnormal, supernormal, all of those things. And, because real, put the keyboard away, doggone it, because I'm expecting the cat to jump up here because she's being weird again. Define real. There we go. So real is defined as actually existing as a thing or occurring in fact, not imagined or supposed. And not imagined or supposed. Once upon a time, people accepted as real or reality that the Earth was flat, or that the entire universe revolved around the Earth, neither of which are true. Or that, think about it. Star Trek, Star Wars, all of those, the flip phones, the beam me up Scotties and all that. How much of that has become reality? Everybody's got a phone nowadays. We're talking on, or my show's being, broadcast all over the world via technology. 100 years ago, this wasn't even imagined yet. Okay, maybe it was imagined, but it wasn't reality. It wasn't real. It was just science fiction at that point. And, so just because we accept things as real or unreal today does not mean that they will be real or unreal tomorrow. We live in a constantly changing and evolving society. And I'm not saying evolution like, everybody started out as newts, but, evolving as in we are growing. There's a growth and evolution, to me, are very, very, very similar. Not necessarily synonymous, but similar. Because you can't have growth if you don't have evolution, and if you're not evolving, you're not really growing. Now are you? So, reality, there's all sorts of different definitions and information out there, and I gotta say, there was not a lot out there specifically speaking to reality according to pagans and witches. Mostly because paganism is a little more woo-woo. for some, it's a fad, or it's a stage or a phase, and it's not something that we live day in and day out, and we actually do, which is unfortunate, because I think if more people were in touch with magic in their lives, we'd have less crap going on right now. Naysay says gravity is not a noun. It's an adjective describing electromagnetic push and pull. Loosely stated, yes. Absolutely true. Gravity is a force. That's about it. So yeah, real is something that's capable of being treated as fact, according to our definitions at this very moment. And something that is being or occurring in actuality and having a verified existence, a substance that also coincides with reality. And real is something that is not an illusion, not fantasy, and not an imaginary thing, or a feeling of intuition. So according to people who don't believe in magic or believe in intuition, which I gotta tell you is bizarre to me, they feel that intuition is not real. Now, I know most of my listeners, if not all of my listeners, believe to some extent in intuition. That's why you wear your lucky socks. That's why you make a left turn instead of a right turn. That's why you make the choices that you do, generally speaking, day in and day out. That's why you do the things you do. You're using your intuition. You are in tune with yourself. And we talked about intuition last night. And it just blows me away. People think that intuition is fantasy, and today's fantasy is tomorrow's reality. So again, it's just different stages. It's evolving, and these words are just, I guess, mankind's way to define something that is undefinable. Corporeal is having material or physical form or substance and affecting a or characteristic of the body as opposed to the mind or spirit. So things that are tangible, you can touch. Realism is a state of being actual or real. I'm not going to go into the definition here, because they talk about facts of life as being more practical, and you have to be in tune with your intuitive side. It's like, I guess for me, it's why I have such a hard time with Christianity, is because it's only observing or honoring, they're literally worshiping the masculine energy. And for me, it's like you're eating the cake and you forgot the frosting, or you want to have a bowl of ice cream, but you don't have a bowl or a spoon. And you're missing out on so much. The material world refers to the physical world that we live in, we work in, we play in, the things that we can experience physically and tactily. And generally things that are, your senses, your sight, your hearing, smell, taste, etc., are, help you manifest what the material world exists of. Now, not material world like money, it's just material world like the world around us. Actual, meaning is fact, rather than pretend, I guess, or imitated. Actuality is the state of actually existing objectively. Objectively, I can't talk, sorry guys. A tangible is something, yes, you can touch. Generally something you can, touch. 100% touch. Stupid cat. Sorry guys. And, what is reality? It's, I don't know. I'm not going to describe it very well, because I didn't actually, define it. What is reality? Yes, scare the cat. One of these days I'll be able to do all of my shows without having to touch my keyboard. Definition of reality is the world or state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic or notional idea of them. If you talk to anybody in any political party, they believe that their reality is the reality and everybody else is not facing reality. And that goes for all political views, just about. And also the state or quality of having existence or substance. So youth, they add, wow. Sometimes the definitions that the Google Dictionary gives us is just bizarre. So yeah, basically, the things that you exist, the things that are around you, the things that you know for fact. And yes, Lewis, I love Halloween, or Samhain is my favorite holiday. And so in September, I will be talking about blue moons and the meanings of blue moons. Just real quick, gonna plug September. Because October has 2 full moons. The second one will be on All Hallows Eve, or the 31st of October, and it is a blue moon. So I don't know what y'all have on your 2020 bingo, but those things that only happen once in a blue moon, yeah, they're happening in October. That's on my 2020 bingo page, because yeah. Yeah. So you basically, reality is those things that you're in touch with. And magic is perceived as the intangible, or the pretend. It's fantasy to many out there in the world. And in reality, I think that magic is just it's just unexplained science, basically. So science at some point will define, what magic really is, or today's definition of magic. Because science is constantly making these leaps and strides. They're discovering all of these new things and such. But are they really discovering new things, or are they just reawakening to the knowledge that they had previously? Which is what I think it is. So yeah, is magic real? So yes, magic is real. Anybody who's experienced magic knows that magic's real. And I'm not talking like the Hollywood style magic or the Las Vegas style magic. Let's see. Hold on. Pause that thought. Pharmacy. Carlton has a question. So, new moon for October. Meaning of new. So the new moon in October 2020. Sorry, I don't mean to stop talking. I just can't. Yes, coffee time. Exactly, Aussie. I left it upstairs at break time. I'm going to go have to get the coffee because, yes. So, full harvest moon, Halloween blue moon, and yeah, there's all sorts of going ons. The new moon is October 16. And you know what? I'm not going to go into it right now, because if I do, I'll be totally sidetracked and squirreled about. So we'll talk about it in September, which, by the way, is just next week. And I hope y'all are having, or have fantabulous Labor Day weekend plans here in the U.S. So, let's see. I had all sorts of things pulled up so I could, talk about them, because it would make sense. So, I think part of the reason why so many people assume that witchcraft is, imaginary or fantasy, is because all they have to base their assumption on, or their opinion on, is Hollywood, or the things they read in books. And by golly, there is a lot of fiction out there that sounds fantastic, but isn't really real. I mean, Harry Potter, for instance. There's a lot out there about Harry Potter type magic, and you know what? Hermione, that doesn't really work. So doesn't matter how you pronounce it, it's not real. And but there are a lot of folks out there who really believe wholeheartedly, 100%, that everything they read is real. So that's part of the reason why it is so hard, when doing research online and not using physical books, just relying on online sources, for instance, is there's so many different articles and such out there are based on the fiction or the fantasy that's out in the world today, like the Harry Potters, the World of Warcraft, Magic the Gathering, which interesting cards, but it's a game, not in the same with Warcraft. That it's they've done their research, but they use books more than online. So if online is your primary source of information, you have to be really real. You have to be really real about your search and the information you use, and making sure that you have credible sources. Because if you don't have the credible sources, then the information that you're using may be incorrect. Follow your intuition, right? Because if you don't, you may end up down the proverbial rabbit hole that just doesn't give you the right information. There's nothing like reading an article that, it just is. I think a lot of the reason, also a reason why people don't believe in magic, straight up, is the rise of Christianity. As the Abrahamic faiths took root and grew and spread across the world, they ostracized and demonized, literally, and punished anything that might be considered magic or witchcraft, because it was other and it didn't fit into their worldview. And so there's that as well. If something doesn't fit into your worldview, that doesn't mean that it is not real. It means it just doesn't fit in your specific worldview. That's why when people are discussing religion, and they're from different religious paths, they have a hard time finding common ground, is because they're so busy looking through their lenses of their own worldview that they can't see the rest of the world and the other opinions and the other things out there. Which is, as a Libra, that's hard, vexing to me. It's like, no, would you just shush and listen? And pay attention, rather than, just assuming that your way is the only way. And that's really, truly the way a lot of Christians believe, for instance, that their way is the only way. That's the only way to be. And that's not the case. Yes, I see the dog. So, there's, I guess we just really need to keep our eyes open and an open mind as we're going through life and studying things and trying to figure out, what is real. And also, this is why you need to journal things, because your definition and your views on reality will change over the course of time. And that's also why there are so many varieties out there of witchcraft or paganism or other esoteric beliefs. So, Asti says, who says that the religious books are true? They could be fictional and not real. Absolutely. That is absolutely true, Asti, because, it's been assumed and that they are real, and it's been accepted that they are real, but are they really real? Once upon a time, it used to be extraordinarily expensive to write a book. And so everything was, passed down word of mouth, from elder to child. And in that time, just if you've ever played the telephone game, you know that the words change. And the meanings can change over time. So, the sky is blue is something we take as fact today, but, 3,000 years ago, they may have said the sky was green, and it's still the same color. The definition can change over time. And so, the written book, the written religious books that we have, are basically just written down accounts of the things that were verbalized previously. And so They may have been a legend, or they may have been just myths that at one point were used for instruction, like teaching people the difference between right and wrong. But once they were put into book format and then published and everybody read them, they were accepted as fact. Now, often it takes a number of years to begin to accept fiction as fact, unless you're a Scientologist. But that's something else entirely. So, it's, I don't know. So yes, the religious books could be fictional. Anyways, we're at the first break already, guys. It's been just 30 minutes already. So we're going to go to break. I'm going to get my coffee. I'll be right back, and I'll see you guys in a few. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between because, hey, why not? It's Saturday night. And I'm talking about reality because it's a fluctuating thing. And it's really weird to not have Dawn here on a Saturday night, I gotta tell you. Or mini-me, or, somebody else, because, well, I'm all by my lonesome. Anyways, so yeah, what's real? There is, oh, let's see. Hold on. Middle of a thought, and I got a beep. Okay, sorry. I got a message, and my. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. Well, it's Saturday, and no math tonight. My brain cannot do math tonight, even though I have the ginormous cup of coffee. Because, yes, I need the coffee. I really, really need the coffee. So when it comes to paganism, is it real? Yes, absolutely it is real. Mostly because, it's another way of honoring the deities in the world around us. And that, in and of itself, is real. Other religions are real, yes, because, people have given those thought forms or those ideas some sort of credence and have, given them definition, and people participate in them. So yes, they are definitely really real. And Lucky is apparently making brownies, and that's not fair. Not fair. I want brownies. And apparently she is not having brownies. That's an entirely different show, dear. If fudge brownies are not allowed on a pagan workshop or YouTube at all. So yeah, the other thing that I see another thing I see that a lot of people assume is that the people from yesteryear, whether it's ancient Americans or what have you, but from thousands of years ago, that they believed in these things because they're stupid and they didn't understand the world that they live in. But they're not. Ancient humans were highly intelligent people. If they weren't, how did they build some of the things that they built? Look at some of the roads the Romans built that are still in existence today. Rome has not been a viable nation in a very long time. And some of the roads are still in existence, still being used today. I gotta tell you, you can drive down Main Street in almost any town in America, and whatever road is there is not going to be there in 1,000 years. We just don't build like that. We just don't. And so yeah, they were smart. Just to survive, they had to survive. Survive, they had to be smart. They had to be aware of the world around them and take advantage of their strengths and turn their weaknesses into strengths. So that's all very real. And a lot of the people back then, deified things that today we would not assume need to be deified, such as nature or trees or rivers or anything like that. And that doesn't mean that they weren't smart. It just means their reality was different than ours today. And to help keep me on track and awake, I'm going to bring Lucky in, you guys. So just hold, please, real quick while I remember how to do this. Oh, and if for some reason I screw up, I'm sorry ahead of time. because about the only thing that might happen is that I disconnect the call line. It should be all good. I think. We'll see.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Lucky.
Good evening.
Good
Morning. Okay, can you? I've got this weird thing with my Skype. I've got 2 Skypes open, and I don't know how that happens. Oh my goodness. It's an app. Go figure.
Right. I did not get a booty message, Naysay. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm just drinking coffee.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So,
I got the big cup of
yes, I'm making fudge brownies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ghirardelli.
I prefer the Hershey's recipe myself just because I can turn them into gluten-free anytime I want to.
Ooh, I want the recipe.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Maybe that's a collab.
You were talking about really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
As you say, maybe that's a
You were talking about
collaboration we need to do is, a Pagan cookbook from all a TFR cookbook from all the TFR hosts. I'm just saying.
That's a good idea. That's a good
this.
idea. Am I coming in too strong? Is the gain too strong?
It might be just a little bit. Apparently, you startled Lewis.
All right.
He's wide awake now.
Sorry about that, buddy. Me too, I promise. All right, let me fix that. I'm working on it. I'll get these settings here while you do that. But the reality. Here's the thing, like, what was it, 500 years ago? People didn't know anything about the pyramids in Egypt. Why? Because they were buried by the sand.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't until what, the 1800s that the pyramids became, obvious and stuff, or they got unearthed or whatever. And then it's like pyramid fever. There's no mention of the pyramids in the Bible even.
Which is bizarre.
So there's some... It's supposed to be a historical record, and it's funny. It's like they were slaves over there, but they never made mention of the pyramids. Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe they were just too busy building the Tower of Babylon. Who knows? Hang on a second. Let me get the settings down because I can hear myself pretty loud in my own ears too. Yeah, you are a little loud today.
Oh, just a little bit more than a little. Automatically, let me turn the automatic off. Let's try that, and bring that down. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. I turned my gain up a little bit, so if I start breathing heavy, I'm sorry, guys. Just let me know. I'll turn it down.
Oh, it's not that kind of show, is it?
No. That's why there's no bronies here, dear.
Well, here's some reality. I want to tell a story what happened yesterday.
Okay, would love it.
Somebody that I was working with, they had, I had to meet them with work and meet a couple of my crew members for work without telling anybody where I'm working, of course. Mm-hmm. And what happened is the one individual, he had gone through a breakup recently, and the emotional trauma in the roller coaster that goes on after a breakup and stuff. Mm-hmm. Didn't want to talk to his girlfriend, whatever have you, ex, whatever. And anyway, so we're meeting up to deal with supplies for work. Mm-hmm. And I get there, and he's helping our other crew member with her car because her battery's acting funny. She just got it back from the shop, and there's no water in the battery. Interesting, but that's a side note. And some other guy came around trying to, I don't know, he was being sketchy. That's the word. And anyway, so he was about to call this friend of his who he knew that owned the company that the guy in the truck was in. Blah blah blah. All the same. Detritus. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. So what happened is after that we couldn't find his phone, his mobile phone, not his work phone, his regular personal phone. We couldn't find it anywhere. And I'm looking, down in the battery compartment, down under the front fender and everything like that. We're looking all over her car for that because he had just put it on the, where your engine compartment is, that flat piece of plastic. Mm-hmm. Usually your fan radiator, fan guard is there and stuff. Anyway, so what happens is he's I mean, we're really looking for it. He said, it's okay, guys, really, because I was planning on getting a new phone anyway. This one that I can't find is, it's old. So I was planning on getting a new one anyway. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. So what happens? So I was like, I said, it might be a good thing that that you can't find it and that you lost it. There might be a good reason for this. And it might serve you better that you don't have it right now. You've got your work phone. It'll be all right for now. It's too bad you lost your contacts and blah, blah, blah. So, because I was thinking that it was up underneath the fender and that when she's on her way home, she'll go over a bump and it'll fall on the train tracks or whatever. I mean, there's my imagination, see?
Yes.
But the reality was we could not find it. We looked high and low all over the place. And he had it in his hand when he was working on it. So get this. This morning I get a phone call. He found his phone in his house.
In his house?
In his house.
How did
And there was an ugly message from his ex on it. He didn't open it because he saw that from the first few words of the message, how it shows up on the message screen.
Yeah.
He didn't even open it. So she had sent an ugly message to him, and that would have really messed him up. But yes, he found it in his house. That phone went from the front of that coworker's car to his house without anybody's knowledge
Oh, how
or
bizarre.
intent.
Isn't that crazy?
I told him, I said, no, it's not creepy. This is
No,
2020.
I didn't say creepy. I said crazy because that
Oh.
is a real thing that happened to you yesterday. But the naysayers out there are going to say, no, that's not possible. That kind of thing doesn't happen in real life. But it does.
But not only does it, it's getting more manifest lately.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting, there was something else that happened recently too, and I can't remember it right now. But that was a biggie.
Mm-hmm.
A phone. We're talking about a mobile phone. Well, I do call them mobile phones for a reason. They're not cell phones. They're mobile phones. That one was mobile.
They're very mobile, apparently.
Yeah.
Very, very.
And actually served a purpose. He didn't have to see that message, and go through that emotional nonsense.
Yeah, the emotional stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So that was an interesting thing. But I had told him, I said, this is 2020. I'm expecting everything. I expect this kind of supernatural stuff to happen all the time anyway. That's just me. Now we've got all kinds of reports of things like this happening.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? It's happening all the time, and everybody else is seeing it too. Like, welcome to my world.
Exactly.
So when you say reality, this is reality.
Mm-hmm.
And, so we have these different accounts of different, supernatural things. People are like, oh, that's not real. Well, that's because you closed your mind to it. And here's the thing,
Mm-hmm.
there's an awful lot of real things going on. I'm hearing about something very strange. You want to hear about another thing that's strange?
Sure.
I know some people.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people. Okay, actually, I know a lot of people. But there's some people that told me something recently. They don't normally buy into the politician stuff and campaign stuff and whatever have you. And, there's a lot of us who we're like, we don't put money in campaigns. Get the heck out of here with that nonsense, right?
Right.
But I have some friends who said, Trump has this energy that's going out there. And there's a lot of people that report that the room is filled with love, not for Trump, but from Trump. That the room is always filled with love when they go meet him. I've met a few people who have met the man.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, and I was thinking, I was like, all right, that kind of makes sense. He's using the power of positive thinking. That was a book in his family that was used like a Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very, Daddy Trump used to make the kids exercise the principles in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, it's like, and I hear about these people they're now donating to the Trump campaign, and they're starting to realize returns on that money.
That's interesting.
And I'm like, it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting. Just for the sake of science, I would say, yeah, let's try this. What the hell, right?
Right.
So, I mean, if one was even thinking about doing it because they like the guy, yeah, I'd say this is the time to do it. Because if you're getting returns on that money, we need to know. We need to hear about this.
Yeah, send me an email,
So,
wildpaisley@gmail.com. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Mm.
If yeah,
and her PayPal is
right.
Paisley Wild. No, spaces between.
Yeah, exactly. So no,
Hmm.
I think in a way we have stuffed down the mention or the acknowledgement of things happening like this with your friend in the phone because it's too big to be real, it's too big to believe. And unfortunately we've turned off our intuition. We've turned off that sense of wonder, if nothing else, and that allows us to believe in those things as being real. And I do wish people would send me an email and say, hey, this is what's going on, because I want to hear about it so I can talk about it on the show, because I think the more we talk about it, the more people will start to alter their thinking to allow these things that seem incredulous become normal,
Hmm.
and the things that we really are believing in and seeing, because it's no longer that, oh my gosh, did you hear what happened type, oh, crazy stuff. It's commonplace and is normal. And so by talking about it and sharing those stories, it becomes normalized. And I think the normal reality that we have needs to shift closer to that normal reality where things like that are commonplace. A coworker was talking to a friend of hers last night, and he just went through a messy breakup, and he had bought a red jasper stone ring because he thought it was cool, and he didn't know anything more about it. He just thought it was cool, and it fit loosely on his finger. And he was working through some of the anger and frustration from this messy breakup. Apparently, there was an abuse situation, and it was bad, and so he was feeling just miserable and such. And in working through it and acknowledging that it wasn't his fault that this relationship was abusive, because he was the received the abuse. It was, he was a victim, acknowledging that, but without having the victim mentality and such. And working through that anger and the frustration and such. Once he got it all out of his system, and he felt like, whew, I needed to let all that out. He, without flexing his hand or bumping his hand against anything, that red jasper ring exploded and shattered.
Oh man,
It
that
absorbed
is.
it absorbed that negative energy, that pain that he was dealing with,
Hmm.
and it let it all out. Um,
Wow.
and yeah, it's really like, woohoo, wow. Um, because
You know,
that's a big deal. And but something like that, people, you talk about it amongst people who don't believe in the woo woo, and they're like, oh, that never happens. You had to have bumped it
well,
against something.
if we were to take our conversation
Mm-hmm.
and in regards to our sciences that we have today, and
Mm-hmm.
we were to go back in time, say 500 years,
Mm-hmm.
they would be thinking that we are talking woo woo.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Okay, because walking on the moon, space exploration, what are you talking about? Okay,
Oh yeah. There's a
that's how they
Jules
would
Verne.
respond. And and the thing is that there's all kinds of signs and symbols, and different. When I say signs and symbols, I mean there's different things that we are supposed to watch in nature to predict what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's some people who read cards. There's some people who use all kinds of different things for divination, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And so the so the thing about that is, it's like we can see these things. Some people are psychic. Some people they're telekinetic, they're telepathic, and things like that. So to sit here and say that that's impossible for any of the mundanes to say such a thing,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of crude, because they're going to sit there and pick up a cell phone and trust it to get them in contact with somebody on the other end. They trust this technology and machinery that they don't know the creators of the machinery. They don't know the people who are manufacturing the machinery to trust it.
Mm-hmm.
why are we trusting such technology? But we sit here and go, ooh, when a psychic says something, or if a witch divines something, that's not woo woo. Which one's woo woo? The one that the technology that's been in effect since millennia, or the new technology that only became after the industrial age?
Exactly. Just like some of the new Tesla cars, for instance, they can park themselves, they can drive themselves partially, you know.
I ain't doing it.
And that's pretty doggone woo-woo, I got to tell you. Although I am kind of bummed. Here it is, 2020. I mean, of all the things we could have had in 2020, where's my Jetsons car?
No stuff. That thing. And I want the sound effects. You know how it goes? I want the sound effects too.
Exactly. And the robot maid, so I don't have to clean the house. Oh, yeah. The robot maid. Yes. That would be fantastic.
I just saw the chat. Justin's planting mushrooms.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, that kind of totally explains the whole good earth part. Yeah. Planting the mushrooms.
Yeah. Having dirty hands. That's awesome.
The other thing, another aspect of reality that especially Americans take for granted or assume is the reality is Western medicine.
Oh, allopathic medicine? Right. They have a lot of faith in that, don't they?
Yeah.
The
Western medicine, your doctor
Wait a
said
minute.
so. I got to take a pill for this. I got to go do this, and you got to do that. And it's the assumption that your doctor is smarter than you. Okay. What is it? What is it? The Day After Tomorrow, the movie, where the science guy says you don't want the guy that got a C in environmental science, making the decisions on the environment for the country or something like that, or being the advisor to the president. So basically, I don't remember the exact quote, but it was an interesting thing. It made me giggle because it's so true. You don't want someone who just barely scraped by, making.
I remember that line in that movie. It was quite.
It was a statement point. Yeah, it was a statement sentence.
Yeah, it stuck, and it stuck everywhere. I think everybody remembers that. Yeah, I remember that. That was in Armageddon, wasn't it?
Was it in Armageddon? Yeah, maybe it was Armageddon. That makes sense. And yes.
That's kind of scary. Of course, it's Armageddon. You get trusted the guy who got a C in astrophysics.
Yeah, that's what it was. But so is your doctor the one who was in the top 10% of his class, or did he just barely scrape by with, a C, or did he get the
No, there's a
was
joke.
It a pass-fail grade?
What do you call the guy that got the lowest grade who graduated from the bottom of his class at Duke University, Medical University?
I don't know.
Doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, bottom of the bell curve.
I mean, with the lowest bottom of the class. What do you call that guy?
He's
doctor.
Still a doctor. Yep.
He is a doctor. So anyway, I don't like that. I don't like that word either because it means to. I'm sorry.
Is that the person making your medical decisions or advising you on your medical decisions? I mean, my sister sent me a meme cartoon this morning, and it was a 4-picture image. And the first image, it's there's a hand sticking out of water, and you see another hand reaching out to the hand in the water, and it says, "Hey, I got your lab results in today." And the next image and it turns out there's nothing wrong. And it pulls the hand back, or the helping hand back, and the next screen is the hand is slowly going underwater, and then the last panel is there's no hands there. So basically, the assumption is, if the labs say everything is okay, then you must be okay. But the reality is our labs do not indicate who we are. We're not just a bunch of petri dishes. We're complex organisms, by golly. And so you have to take care of the entire body in its wholeness, not just the assumption that you can treat the one thing and that's going to be it. I mean, when Carlton was on the show, we talked about nutrition and such. And you can't just fix one thing. It's like, oh, I'm going to take a pill to do this one thing, like vitamin D, for instance. I'm going to take vitamin D because I need more vitamin D. Okay, that's great. But are you going to take the other things to help the vitamin D work in your body absorb the vitamin D? Because if you're not, then it's not going to do you any good. Or calcium. If you don't take vitamin D when you take calcium, are you really going to absorb all the calcium that you need? Are you really doing the right?
Right.
Are you really taking the right?
Are you taking the related or component? What's the necessary related components to make those nutrients work for your body? Because they don't work alone.
Exactly.
Those nutrients, and it's not supposed to work alone. We're not supposed to go around eating clams, just for calcium content.
Exactly.
No, we need to eat other foods too, and in a proper balance, and let the body absorb the nutrients. And basically, we're making dishes that fight, that has nutritional fighting going on, because you've got nutrition. You got some things that's good for you, but it will inhibit the other nutrients from being absorbed.
All right,
and
so I'm going to stop you
battle.
because we're at the top of the hour. So we're going to talk about food when we come back. So, yes. And we're going to talk about cofactors. Yes. When we come back, top of the hour.
That's the word. Thank you.
Yes. Alan had the word, so. All right, be right back, you guys. Hi guys. In
It's okay.
YouTube. You know, this is why Lucky's on
Yeah,
the
we
air
need
with
more
me.
coffee.
More coffee. Oh, my stars. Sorry, guys. You missed the singing bowls. It was only in TFR.
Oops.
Oops.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your bad. It's me.
Yeah.
Operator error on my part. I will own it. So, yeah. No, it was me.
And,
Sorry, guys.
Naysay said something about murder by injection by Eustace Mullins, and he's absolutely right. That is a must-have a book. Absolutely.
Yeah, people assume that the doctor knows best, and in reality, the doctor often knows least.
Exactly, because I mean, let's think about it, folks. Okay, would you trust that doctor to live with you in your house or babysit your children?
My daughter's doctor?
If not,
Yes. I've actually used him as a babysitter, so yes. But
good job.
but all no, it's they and he and his wife are just fantastic people. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there. No, they have medical licenses, and nope, nope, not gonna. So Justin wants to know if you're okay because a couple times he's tuned into your show and it's been a rerun. Lucky has been putting in OMG crazy hours.
Yeah, a lot of hours, and I'm sorry about that to my fans out there. But 7 p.m. to 9 is my busiest time at work, and I don't want to. Just mess up a whole show by taking an emergency call from work. So I just figured, put it on Rebro for now. I will be back, and I am doing okay. I'm just tired. I really am tired, but when the project's over, I'll be able to come back, and I've got a lot to talk about. Oh my God. Oh, and I really feel bad for my friends because I just lay it out on them because I don't have my fans to talk to. I don't have my audience to talk to. They, so it's just been one heck of a trek here, and I don't know when it's going to be over. It's supposed to be over here soon. I don't know when it's going to be over.
Maybe.
Yeah. Alan, hi there. Oh, hi, Alan. He's like a moderator in the TFR chat, and I kind of miss him too. So I've been missing a lot of people, and I tune into your show because I'm like, usually on Fridays and Saturdays it might slow down a little bit, but yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be up at Spiral Fart in the morning and going on the road and working again. So
What'd you call it?
We're going to be I called it Sparrow Fart because you get up earlier than the sparrow farts.
Oh, my stars. I'd never heard that before. That's funny. I've just always called it Oh Dark 30 because no one wants to be awake at that hour.
That's what we called it in the Marine Corps, but my dad used to call it Sparrow Fart. Because you wake up before, how everything farts in the morning. Everybody farts in the morning, so does a sparrow, and so it's earlier than when the sparrow farts.
Oh, I'm learning all sorts of new terminology. So we're talking about nutrition. So
and really real and reality and things like that. Yeah.
Because reality is shifting.
Yeah, oh, goodness.
So, I met a gal about a month ago, and she herself, she's a specialist in for bladder cancer. That's her focus. That's what she went to school for. That's what her degree is in. And she is not your traditional doctor. She is Korean, and she's had her own health issues, which is part of the reason why she's a bladder cancer specialist. But she was so frustrated with Western medicine and trying to cure her health issues that she went back to Korea.
That's a statement, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow.
Because the care that she was receiving in Korea and the treatment for her health issues was better in Korea, which Americans generally assume to be a lesser country because it's not America. What's that say, about our medical system? Do we have a pretty good medical system? Yeah, we do. We do. And I won't say we don't because we do. However, we have a lot of, we can't just assume that doctor knows best because doctor does not know best. doctor often knows least, because doctor is assuming doctor knows best but has no clues. Like going to your general practitioner and you expecting him to do surgery on you. I wouldn't want a GP to do surgery on me, because GP has no idea what on earth he's doing or she's doing. So,
To be honest with you, I'd rather have a veterinarian work on me than a GP, medical, pharmaceutical doctor dude.
well,
Because veterinarians, they have to know how to operate on all kinds of animals.
they go to school
All
for
right,
a
and
lot
we are
longer than
mammals. Huh?
doctors. So,
What's that?
people doctors
Uh-huh.
do not have as much education as animal doctors.
True. That is true. And animals are very quick to understand who's a bad guy and who's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, as soon as they look
Exactly.
at them, they know.
Yes.
Um,
So we were talking
you know, it's
about.
funny.
Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say. Okay. I was gonna say something. Something interesting. Like for instance, medical doctors know nothing about reflexology. Maybe today they do, but when I was a teenager, I knew about reflexology before I knew that there was a name for it.
Mhm.
I thought it was just. My father said I had healing hands, and because I would rub his feet, he was diabetic, and I would rub his feet, and anytime he had an ailment in different parts of his body, I would focus on a different part of his foot.
Mhm.
You know, and I never knew back then. I didn't know what was. It was totally instinctive, or intuition.
Mhm.
And it kind of freaked me out when I found the graph, and I was like, "Dad, guess what it's called? That thing that I was doing to your feet." He says, "What, kid?" And I said, "It's called reflexology. Look at this." And I basically showed him on his foot. I was like, "This area is the sinuses. You always said that I used to know how to make your sinuses feel better by doing your feet. This is why." And this is for your neck, and this is for your kidneys. This is for your back pain or whatever And he thought he was like, it's a science, really? I thought you just had healing hands, which I did, but at the same time, where to put them is just as important as having them.
Mhm. So is that
You know,
science discovering something, or is it science acknowledging the existence of something they didn't understand before? So it's science
right?
explaining
Because
magic.
yeah, yeah, because that's Eastern medicine right there.
Mhm.
The reflexology, that's Eastern medicine. Now they've discovered that not only is reflexology real, but you have dental reflexology, you
Mhm.
have palm reflexology,
Mhm.
and that it's a fact that our nervous system and our whole body is connected to each other, and it's an interdependent relationship.
Mhm.
Your
Very
foot
much
is
so.
dependent on your hands to work properly, and vice versa, and the rest of your body.
Mhm.
So instead of jumping into a surgery room when somebody has an injury, or if there's a serious ailment, perhaps there might be some other parts of the body that need to be addressed first.
Mhm.
And that's reality. The Chinese have been the ancient Chinese were practicing that for millennia,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
talk about a
thousands
group
of
of
years.
people who would not have done that if there wasn't some truth to it. I mean,
Exactly.
they weren't stupid people a millennia ago. They're not stupid people today. They weren't stupid people then. They knew things, and to assume that no, they didn't is just, you know, really defining what assume really is. When you break it
Hmm.
apart. So, uh, have when we were talking about nutrition and the reality of nutrition, reality of medicine and foods and the things you put in your body, have you? There's a test that I would love people to try and tell me about it if they do it. It's where you take 4 or 5 different things, like an apple, a banana, maybe leftovers, a bag of chips, a candy bar, a cup of coffee, whatever, and you you kind of clear your mind a little bit, ground a little bit, and you take any one of those things one at a time with your eyes closed, and you hold it up to your chest with your eyes closed, and you focus on the energy of yourself and the energy of the thing that you're holding in your hand, with a cup of coffee or chocolate or whatever. And if your body truly needs that thing that you're holding, once you've tuned into the energy of it just a bit, you will start to lean forward and into that thing that you're holding up to your chest. If your body does not truly need it, you will start to lean away from the thing that you're holding up. Your body's energy will connect to the energy of the thing, whatever it is, and it will tell you if you need it or not. Just like if you're sitting next to someone and they're throwing off negative energy, your body language is going to be like, leaning away. No, I don't need that person in my space. I'm going to scooch over here. And before you know it, you're across the room because that person's just throwing some bad vibes. Same kind of thing. Food that you need, rather than the food products that you don't, your body will lean into it. It'll want to absorb that energy rather than lean away. So if you do it, tell me about it.
I have a friend who had a chiropractor doctor way back when I was a kid. Chiropractor practice was not well respected back then. That was considered what is it called? I forget what they were trying to call it back then. Quack medicine, but it wasn't.
Practor. Yeah.
Right. And so what happened is my friend, he had allergies, but they didn't know what he was allergic to. He kept on having reactions, just there was no rhyme or reason to it. Finally, the chiropractor, he said, yeah, let's do an allergy test. Instead of pricking and poking the body's skin, and trying different stimulus that way, what he did is he had cups. He had little like your Anchor Hawking little cups and such. And he would put different items in there, like sugar, chocolate, honey, venom from a bee, all kinds of different stimulants like that people would normally go through on an allergy test. And he did what's called a strength test. And the boy laid on his back, right? And he held his hand out. And the doctor would test his strength. What he would do is he would take one little dish or one little, container of this stuff and put it on the boy's stomach and test the strength of the boy's hand. The boy couldn't see what was in the stuff because he was laying on his back, and test the strength. And the strength test, that told him what he was allergic to. It was amazing. I'm like, okay, so this was in practice by an American in Indiana, an American doctor. That was back in the old days or older days. Not old days by our standards, but, the kids today would probably say, oh, that was a long time ago. Well, yeah, but for us, and I'm just thinking it was like during the 80s that was being done. Yeah. So we know there's doctors that know. They just don't practice that or let the medical industry know that because they'll lose their license. Because what is the medical industry? It's the AMA. American Medical Association. That means medicine or pharma. And, how do they make their money? How do they stay in power? No drugs. More are we having common sense things. I mean, ask a mom. She knows when her baby's sick. She looks at the color of the whites of the baby's eyes, and she can tell. Every mama knows. Bless you. Every mama knows.
When my daughter cuddles up with me, I can tell if she's sick or not just by smelling her breath.
Yep.
I can smell the fever.
My mom said that. She said she hated all those commercials with the toothbrush and the mouthwash. And first thing in the morning, everybody has to brush their teeth right away because you have to be minty fresh. She said it's terrible because we can't smell the illness in a person and ascertain what it is. She told me that when I was young.
Yeah, morning
she can tell when you're feeling... If it's a stomach ailment or if your
yes.
tooth is bad, she can tell the difference.
Yes, absolutely. And that's something that is poo-pooed because it's too woo-woo. For
Very well done.
Well, no, it is because it's the mother's intuition. It's going back to that intuition again, because we forget that intuition is real. I'm hiding on camera. Sorry, guys, I have a cat.
You know what I think? Calling it mother's intuition and, poo-pooing it like that, and calling mother's intuition magic or witchcraft. I don't agree with that. I think every woman is born with it. I think it is a integral part of womanhood. And only because I'm a woman. I'm not going to say that men don't have that same intuition. Not at all. I'm just speaking as a woman when it comes to children. We have that instinct, and sometimes we have that inherent knowledge. It is not it's not a magic thing. It's not a religious practice, folks. It is a natural thing for the survival of our species. That is born in us.
Yes.
There are some outliers out there. You've got some women out there who haven't an ounce of intuition at all. And it's not because they don't care. It's not there for them. So that's the outliers, and they get help by the family, the other ladies in the family who do have the intuition. But, anyway, so I didn't mean to go down that rabbit trail, but talking about reality, because mother's intuition is a real thing, and mother's strength and all that stuff. There's a lot of what is considered supernatural, and I don't think it's supernatural at all. It's absolutely natural and normal. It is a part of, I think it should be incorporated into the discipline of physics study. I really do, because it's your cat.
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm watching the cat get in front of her camera, just walk in front of the camera. And it's like, if my cat was in here right now, she would be doing the same thing to the microphone. And if the camera was on, she would be doing that right in front of the camera too. Yeah. So I get that. But he's like, I understand the pain. But anyway, so back to, the reality. She did. But the reality is that we do have, what a lot of people ascribe to magic is not really magic. It's physics. I mean, because if that's magic, then breathing oxygen and swimming and, growing plants, everything is magic.
Oh, yeah.
I think, and to say science is now talking about it, so it proves it's true. Wait a minute. Hold the phone.
Exactly.
Science.
Yes.
Science is a new discipline.
It is.
Yeah.
Everybody's digging the cat tail that keeps blocking the camera.
That's awesome.
Yes.
But,
drama cat.
and the thing is, it's like, the thing about, reality, everybody's talking about this reality. Well, that's not real. UFOs are not real. Oh, now the Pentagon has released footage of UFOs. Right. What say you now?
Yeah, it wasn't something I had on my 2020 bingo. I'm just saying. I did not have aliens. I didn't think the government was going to acknowledge that one. But yeah,
the government's giving away money. Okay, wait a minute. Hey, how about this one? How about the government is giving away so much money? All right. Have you ever thought of that? I mean, what? I mean, we're talking both sides of the aisle, giving away money in stimulus packages and unemployment. And there's a lot of people not going back to work because there are. She just put her tail in your face. I'm sorry. The government is that cat. It's universal, folks. Cats will put their butts in your face in front of company.
Yes.
So that's some more reality,
Well, right now she's trying to play with the soundboard. So if I lose sound, I'm sorry. It's not operator error. I'm going to blame it on the cat. Yes. That's what I get for naming the cat Drama.
Love.
Yeah, raising plants, yes, gardening of any kinds, in knowing that the nutritional value of different plant life, whether it's, tomatoes or asparagus, what the nutritional value is. That's, to me, that's not any different than knowing the medicinal value of any of the things you might have in the garden.
Right.
Mini-Me and I tomorrow, I'm planning on processing some of the walnut leaves that we harvested a couple weeks ago. They're thoroughly dried now, and so we're going to grind them up, and then I'll be turning them into kind of a tincture and adding some other things to it, and to make a salve that's really good for skin irritations.
I was going to ask you, what's it for? Because I don't know this one.
Mm-hmm. It's good for psoriasis and such. So yeah, skin rashes and just skin irritations. So.
Is that the black walnut?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I need to learn that one. So
So, and
yeah,
yeah,
send me
I
the
had no
recipe on
idea
that,
that
would you?
was. Yeah, absolutely.
And you know about the
I had no idea it was a thing until she brought me a walnut leaf and said she wanted to make a potion. So, yeah, we will.
nice,
We'll be
nice.
making potions tomorrow.
Yeah, me,
um,
I'll be working at
sorry.
Sparrow Fart in the morning, and
We'll be
till
thinking of
late
you.
night, of course.
We'll think of
Huh?
you. We'll think of you and our lovely 70-degree weather, and as we're making potions. Um,
Yeah, we're at Swamp Ass August here, so
it's 70. Seriously, it's been the coolest summer I can remember. We've had one day over 100 degrees, and it was only for about 2 hours. And it's normally we get about 2 weeks of that in August. So,
oh boy, oh boy. So we better prepare for winter because a lot of people, I know it's hot as heck outside
hmm
here in Tennessee,
hmm
and we are sweating and it's pretty rough and brutal. But that's the thing, it's like that every summer. But this summer, I have to say it's been a lot cooler than normal to me. Okay, because
hmm
I don't think we've hit 100 down here. We may have, but I don't know of it.
yeah,
Okay.
just the one day. I'm already getting my fall allergies, and September doesn't start until
Wow.
Tuesday. So, yeah, I've noticed the sinus stuff kicking in because, yeah, it's my life. Um, so pharmacy,
Okay,
I'm
if you heard
very
some beeping, guess what that means?
your cat or your coffee.
No, no.
What?
The fudge brownies are done.
Oh,
Ah,
you're grounded. So I, I think it's going to be an early winter, um,
I do too.
and I think there's a good potential that 2021 will be a year of historic flooding. So, um, pharmacy says that he did not get any elderberry this year. I'm sorry. I'm going to be picking elderberry tomorrow.
Wow.
So, um, yep. I'm
That's strange because he's got all those bees out there. He should have a ton
Well,
of elderberry,
he
but if the
did,
birds all
but the
got it.
birds got him. Yeah. So the elderberries I can't reach will probably end up fermenting at some point because that's what happens. Because if they're 25 feet up, I can't get up there. And we have a woodpecker that likes to eat the fermented elderberry leaves and gets drunk and flops around in
It
the
gets,
yard.
I
On
can
that
just see
note,
it too.
we're going to break, so we'll be right back. It's last break already.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The night is flying
That
by.
is interesting.
So,
I didn't see any elderberry this year, though. Nope. I didn't see any.
oh, I'm sorry. I have lots of it. Because I have
Shut
three
up.
trees.
Staghorn sumac, yeah.
Yep.
Anyway,
All right, see you guys in a bit.
Sisters of the shining moon, heaven, earth, and sea, I call upon you in this hour, bring magic unto me. Brothers, oh, the cauldron cries, it singeth unto me the songs of Mother Goddess and of Father in the tree.
I love that song. So this is Paisley Wild, and we're off adventuring into the spaces between while Lucky eats brownies and drinks coffee. That's why she's not here yet.
Yes, I am. I just forgot to unmute my mic. And no, I don't have. That would be like lava chocolate in my mouth right now.
That's what vanilla ice cream is for.
Huh?
That's what vanilla ice cream is for.
Yeah, I don't have that. And not only that, I'm trying to find some without having to spend a lot of money and waste a lot of ice cream because I'm really picky. Mm-hmm. So if I get an ice cream and it tastes fake to me, or if it tastes like there might be plastic something in there, mm-hmm. I'm not eating it. And I don't want to waste all that. So finding one is a very difficult thing for me, to find one that tastes natural, like Breyers back in the old days. Mm-hmm. You know, what Breyers used to taste like, but now they've got emulsifiers and whatever the hell is in there. Because that was their advertising campaign. Folks, those of you who are too young to remember, back in the old days, Breyers came out with an ad campaign. It said, and it had children on a side-by-side view of a camera view. And one child is reading the ingredients to the ice cream that they had, and they're trying to pronounce all these huge words, you know, these scientific words that's in the ingredients of the ice cream. Whereas the child who's reading the Breyers ice cream label, cream, sugar, strawberries, they could read the panel, okay? Mm-hmm. And that was a good idea. If you can't pronounce it, you shouldn't be eating it.
Yes.
You know, yeah, that's a good idea. Even foreign food, if you can't pronounce it, that you might not want to eat it anyway. You know?
Just like if you don't know what that word really means, are you sure you want to tattoo it on you?
Yes, exactly. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Yep, that.
I see people with tattoos all the time. And sometimes there's foreign words, sometimes there's, you know, I've seen Cyrillic,
Nordic characters.
I've seen Nordic characters. I've seen Cyrillic. I've seen Ogham. I've seen kanji. I've seen Arabic. I've seen Judaic script, and it's like, or Hebrew, excuse me. And all I can think is, like, does that say what you really think it says, or does it say, I like to wear pink hats? You know, what's it say?
Right. You know, and do you really know the definition of the words that it's supposed to translate to? Right. You know?
Yeah. So, you know, English is quite the interesting language. But there's a lot of words out there in other languages that are similar, or the definition is similar to English, but it's not, the translation isn't quite correct. For instance, I think the Eskimos have 100 words for snow. I mean,
yeah.
Which word is the right word? We just call it snow.
Right.
Well, here we call it snow, sleet, grapple. Grapple is like a combination between hail and snow and sleet, and it's gross. We have thunder snow.
I call it slush.
Slush.
I call that slush.
Exactly.
Falling slush.
It's slushing outside.
You know.
So you know, it's snow. You know, it's a dry snow.
Then you got the powdery dry snow that hurts when it hits you. You know.
And we have, I've got a ski slope here, so we've got we've got avalanche snow, and we've got champagne snow. Champagne snow is really good for the skiers and snowboarders. So yeah, if you're not really sure are you using the right word?
Exactly.
So do your research.
Yeah. I got
and ask for a couple of different translations before you commit fully. Right.
Yeah, indeed.
Just
Don't get foreign characters.
yeah.
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Why not put it in English? Must
Yeah.
you really,
Right? Does it mean less if it's in English, or does it mean more if it's in a
Yeah,
different language?
right. I mean, it's like, okay, what, you mean it more so because it's in a foreign language or a foreign writing? Is that what it is? Okay. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I guess it's xenophilia, I think it's called.
Who
That kind of
knows?
thing. But
Yeah. It's if it's not your reality, don't put it on your skin.
right.
Just
That's a good idea. Especially when it's, oh, what I like, and not to disparage anybody who follows, games, especially your what is it called, anime,
mhm.
the Japanese stuff that's coming out of, they're churning out anime like it's nobody's business, like it's a factory, just churning it out.
Yes.
Some of the words that they use in the anime does not really mean what they say it means. It's BS, guys. Okay. I saw a tattoo of a fellow on a fellow. His thigh was taken up with it. And it was some kind of alchemist wheel from a game, from a video game. And I was like, are you sure you know what all that says? And he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, according to whom? Because the alchemists of yesteryear are gone and they're not here to translate what really is what those symbols mean. And if you've got it messed up, you're inviting a whole bunch of bad things into your life, especially since you tattooed it on your skin next to your groin. Dude, I mean, it was on his thigh, the fleshy part of his thigh. It was huge. And so you know that the circle went all the way around near his groin. I'm like, that's some dedication to an unsurety. No.
Exactly. So, I saw a meme yesterday. I think it was. It's like, is a two-panel meme, and the first panel is practicing your Latin and accidentally conjuring a demon, and then it's like the panicky face, and then the next screen or panel was someone look with a thinking expression. It's like, is summoning a demon to help you with your Latin classes. I mean, it's, so,
Oh God.
yeah. So be aware of what you're doing, and yeah.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. Wow. Oh wow. Oh yeah.
That one
But
made me
here's the
giggle
thing.
for a while, yeah. Because that was funny.
Oh wow. Talking about reality, but the thing is also, we have so many different disciplines in the pagan world, in
Yes.
the Wiccan world, if you will. Um, and here's the thing about it is, I have to say this is real because I was utterly shocked. I have met more pagans in the past week here in this area. And I thought this place was totally bereft of them.
Oh,
And I've
really?
told you the couple of that I had met, but then I just met one a couple days ago. And he
Mm-hmm.
says, "Yeah, we're getting together for all I'm a druid," and he's just telling all these different people that they gather once a month to have dinner at a restaurant, and they just gather there so that people can at least network and at least
Mm-hmm.
have a fellowship of being outsiders from the Bible Belt. This is the Bible Belt down here, all
Mm-hmm.
right, and some people are trying to change it to the goddess's girdle. Okay, so
Love
but
it.
yeah, I'd rather not just involve, try to say it's all clothing and stuff. But the point is that people are getting together
Mm-hmm.
and they're talking and they're saying, okay, we can gather. We might not believe in all the same things,
Mm-hmm.
but we can get together and work together to
Exactly.
um, change this world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so happy to see it.
And it's
I
not
am so.
necessarily a religion thing, it's a spirituality thing. Pagans in general are honoring the deities and honoring the world around them and the people around them. It's not just, you know, all hail the cross. It's I mean it's we're more accepting, I think, as a lot of it. In reality, we're accepting. We're not as judgmental because we've already been judged. We know what it feels like. We've been judged by our fellow man, not by a deity. And
Mhm.
and it's so yeah. I think we're a little more understanding, a little more open to different viewpoints and opinions. And I think the more we do that, the more we put it out there, and the more we spread that, acceptance and tolerance and love, the better our world will be for it, and the more people will start to open their eyes. It's like the snowball effect, if you will, or the butterfly effect.
Mhm.
This it just takes a little wiggle to get things moving, and it will get bigger. It will become better. It will increase in its volume, and yeah,
Mhm.
we just need to do more of it, um, because you know if we don't, who will?
Exactly.
Um,
We are called for times such as these.
mhm.
But I still can't forget the vision that I had way back in the 90s. Riding a motorcycle, it was flying over the Appalachian Mountains,
Mhm.
and I saw bonfires down on the mountains. I'd look down and we're flying on a motorcycle. This is before the Harry Potter thing came out.
Okay, okay, Hagrid. So,
No, real. I know, right? Well, the guy driving it was not a Hagrid. I assure you that. Anyway. So, um, the thing, but anyway, looking down, I saw these bonfires, and it was actually witches and Christians getting together to join forces against this evil that's in our nation. And I think it's actually coming true. While we are not physically with the Christians, and they're not at the bonfires with us, I do think that there's a lot of, just like the politics in our country, the
mhm.
same is happening with religion in our country. Politics in our country, people are not there who would normally not vote because they don't vote either way. They just have nothing to do with it. But they are leftists, and and even the leftists, there's a lot, excuse me, Democrats, I'll say.
Mhm.
Democrats are actually starting to vote Republican because they see the nonsense that's been going on in the Democrat hierarchy.
Mhm.
Same thing with religion. What we're seeing now is we're seeing an exodus from the churches back to paganism, to the roots, and people trying to discover their ancestral roots. They're trying to discover their spiritual roots and the pardon the way I'm saying it, but the soil's roots, to see how to connect. And there's a huge exodus going to the esoteric religions,
Yes.
and they're leaving the churches, but they still believe in the Christ message,
Mhm.
but they're leaving the churches because they see what's been going on, and everything's been exposed. 2020 is a perfect number for the year that we're having. All the stuff is becoming clear to see, all the chaos, all the corruption, and everything in the old stodgy institutions we used to have here in this country, and it's finally being shattered.
Mhm.
That nonsense is being shattered, and we're starting to see the truth of it, and everybody is starting to go towards the truth and the light. And
Yes.
okay, you're smiling. What?
I agree.
Go ahead. What do you
No,
say?
no, I
Okay.
think you're right. Now, do I think it'll be Christians and pagans, dance together in mass hysteria?
No, I don't
Maybe.
think they're going to be dancing,
Um,
and I certainly don't think they'll be sky clad. That's for dang sure.
you never know. It could happen. It
It
just
can
depends on how much sake is available
happen. Right.
or communion wine. But I think there is a coming together or an awakening, or altering of awareness. I've seen it in the people that I talk to in the store. People are leaving the bigger cities. It really feels like a mass exodus. It's a seller's market where I live. Properties are on the market for, if they're correctly priced, oh, it's a week tops right now because the market is
Wow.
that hot. Because people are
Wow.
leaving. They want to stay in the region, but they're tired of some of the larger communities like Seattle or Portland, or even
Right.
Northern California, because they're tired of the disparity. that exists there. So they're flocking this way, and unfortunately, that means we've got a lot of people coming to my area, which is sad because I like it being not populated, but at the same time, I can't blame them. I can't blame them for wanting to leave. It's like mostly we're saying, hey, leave your politics somewhere else. But
the reasons why we're leaving, the reasons why most of us left the cities years ago is we saw this coming. We saw this kind of thing happening, and we were like, no, I'm going out into the country. And I'm deep in the country right now. It's going to take a few minutes before they can get the city type of mentality and issues to come out this way. So we've got a few minutes, I'm even thinking because of the way it's starting to grow, I'm seeing land developers starting to move out this way a little bit, some certain houses and things like that, just a couple of them here. I'm like, okay, it's time to move even deeper into the woods. But at the same time, I don't want to because I want my fiber optic internet, and I can't.
Right, I know.
As it is, I don't have it, and they're thinking about it.
I know.
So that tells me, okay, here come the city folk.
Exactly, exactly. So where I'm at geographically is we've got massive pinch points that will block traffic if we had to shut the region down, because there's mountains and significantly large bodies of water that will prevent traffic from just, coming to see us. So, sure, if things were to go totally sideways, I feel pretty protected from pretty much everything except for maybe Yellowstone. But then nobody's safe from Yellowstone.
Right. So I think we're all screwed on that one.
Exactly.
I mean, even over here too, it's like, there's some ridges that keeps we've got the nuclear plants along the river, and there's a few ridges that'll keep me from the initial blast, but the fallout, forget it. We're all toast.
Yeah, exactly.
But as for the caldera, no, that's going to take out a good portion of this land.
Yeah, it's a continent altering type of thing. New
I'm wondering.
Sea. Yes.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Here's the thing I was wondering, because we were just talking about the portion of the land here in the United States, this continent. If anybody has actually drawn the actual size of the United States and other countries in respect to the United States and the seas and everything like that. Because there's a statement, there's somebody there, I've seen a couple of videos and it's kind of making sense, that the globes that we've been issued from childhood that we saw in school and everything, that the United States has been magnified. It's been enlarged. It's not actually as big as we perceive it. And I'm curious about that, because I was wondering about it because of the fact that, from here to Alaska, it's a really long way. Okay. But across the nation, it's not so much. But then again, you see these maps and globes that make the Americas look a lot wider than what they are. And I kind of wonder about that. And speaking of reality, that's maybe something that we need to know about, because we're sitting here priding ourselves on such a huge land, and we're just so great and everything as Americans. If we saw if we saw the size of our country in respect to the rest of the world, in the actual size, I think there would be a lot of people settling down on their arrogance. As far as on the world stage.
Just according to Dr. Google, the U.S. has only about 1 million more square miles than, say, Australia.
Oh, wow. So that's a big chunk of mass not there, that we've got.
Yeah, it's 1 million square miles. It's kind of a big deal, but yeah, it's...
Okay. Let's look at Alaska. Okay. Alaska, from what I understand, the size of Alaska, you could take well, no, you shouldn't do that. The size of Alaska can cover 2/3 of the continental United States.
I don't know. So Alaska has 663,000 square miles.
Mm-hmm. And the United States?
Oh, wow. Hold on.
She's Googling, y'all.
I'm
She's
Googling.
Googling.
I'm Googling. So, which there's, just for reference for Europe, there's 248 square miles in France and 663 square miles in Alaska. I'm rounding slightly, so. Pharmacy goes, we have a my country is bigger than yours syndrome.
Well, basically, it is, waving the size. Yeah, it's size waving, if you will. That's what we've done. Yeah. I said it nicely, didn't I? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Okay.
So, the continental U.S.
So the reality
is what 3.1 square miles roughly. Yeah, 3.1 million square miles in Alaska is 663 square miles, so about a third. No, my math isn't working.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. U.S. Like I'm going to trust. Let's see here. We need to.
Google.
You know what? That's a project we need to do on another day because I'm just like
we're doing Saturday night
it's
math.
10 till 2 in the morning. I got to get up in a few hours. I can't do this today.
So yes, we're doing math on a Saturday. It seems like we always do math on Saturdays. So yeah, but anyways,
Saturday.
I think U.S. maps are definitely skewed a bit. Naysay says the globe has perpetrated a false reality with the relative proportion of different countries to others. Yes.
Absolutely. There we go.
So,
Alan, 48 states, 8,080 square miles. Yep. Pretty good, huh? Mm-hmm. I love our guys.
I know.
That's the place. If you want to learn something, just throw that out there on the air, and our people will. And the area in Alaska is 663,300 miles. So, what do we look? Let me look at this here. Wait a minute, that can't be right.
No, because
8,080. That's not right.
It's got to be.
It must be higher.
There's got to be a couple more zeros there, Alan.
Yeah. I kind of see. That's what I shouldn't be trying to do math here. Never mind. I'll get this later.
I'll
get this later.
It's 8,080, 8.1 roughly square kilometers, is what that is. Square miles is 3.1-ish million square miles. So, yeah.
Well, hang on a second now. If the U.S. is okay, they've got 3.797. Yet, I could have sworn Alaska. If you took a tissue trace paper, never mind. You know what? Forget it. It's too late at night for this.
And we only have 3 minutes left.
Fudge.
Yes, you're gonna go eat your brownies.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we'll do math on another night because it's Saturday. Yes. Because so there's again reality. Size matters, yes, especially when you're talking geography, because yes, a mile is a mile is a mile, but if your mile is not being measured correctly, is it really a mile or is it a kilometer? So, but the globe, Americans assume that the globe is accurate. And that it definitely says, oh, yes, we've got, the U.S. is that much bigger than the rest of the world. Well, is it really? And if it's not, what is the globe? What are the maps hiding? It means there's a lot more ocean or square miles of the world that Americans aren't being told about. Which, Americans aren't told about a lot of things. So, and they don't want to know. Just like so many sea people, it's like, why are you killing animals? Just get your meat from the grocery store, like everybody does here.
Oh my gosh,
that's a real thing.
That is
I've heard
silly.
it. Yes. Or why do you milk cows? We just go buy it at the store. It's like
there's a leaf in my food.
Right?
People are screaming about that.
Yeah, it's called lettuce.
And bay leaves. They're screaming about bay leaves in their food.
So,
I just quit. It's 2020. I'm sitting back eating the popcorn and watching it go by. That's what I'm doing.
exactly. Well, and that's real. It is. People are just being people, I guess. And we have so many idiots out there who don't understand what's real, and they're so focused on the Kardashians that they don't understand that there's a perception of reality is skewed because they assume Hollywood is real. And it's not. Hollywood is fictional, is made up. They don't have a lot of real things there. So, yeah. So be aware. The information you take in and put in your brain, is it real or is it fiction? And often the only way to find out what it truly is by doing your own research, verifying the information, and getting more than one opinion, and don't believe everything you see on TV. So, on that note, define your reality. Define your reality, write it down in your journal. That's my challenge for the week, because sure, why not? We all need a challenge. So, so that's the end of the show tonight. So merry meet and merry part and merry meet again. And I hope you all have a lovely week and a happy, start to September.
Yes.